Tonight on One Day Leader, we go down memory lane and begin to create some new memories as we investigate the journey of a leader. Good evening, I'm Masachaba Lekalake. Welcome to the second season of One Day Leader. Tonight, I am very excited to reveal our new contestants and plenty of new developments and surprises. Now, brace yourselves for an unforgettable journey. After a grueling 2 months, we are finally ready to introduce you to our top 6 who will compete head-to-head, and you will choose the one person whose vision you think will change the course of our country. For the next 13 weeks, they will showcase their vision and persuade you to vote for them for the coveted title of One Day Leader. But before you meet them, let's see how they were selected to make it to top 6. Thousands of entries came through, and after a long evaluation process, the top 60 was selected. We partnered with SABC Radio.
And take some things from what they see in the public.
The quality of scholars and school leavers which we are producing.
And from the different provinces, these young people debated among themselves.
I will be part of the youth that will go to the municipality meetings.
What I would like to see is that all the races and all the genders will come along together
to make it to the top 20.
How do we hold the government accountable?
They then came to Johannesburg to secure their place in the final 6. So you've seen some of our entrants and possible candidates for this season. We thought it'd be nice to go down memory lane and also catch up with some of the contestants from last season to find out where their One Day Leader journey has taken them to. Leader2 founded Embo Agricultural Cooperative, where they grow seeds on a land donated by his grandfather. He also initiated a project called Moving Mountains. Vanensha is currently working on an initiative called Lead On Leaders, targeting schools in Pretoria to work with young leaders and prefects to become better leaders. Ayanda currently works as an insert producer, voiceover artist, field reporter, and anchor on a news and current affairs program. Johan works as a credit analyst for TransUnion. He's a speaker for ATKV youth camps. Sebenzile continues to run her organization called She Relates. She also anchors an online show called The Third Place, where she and 3 other women tell South African stories and raise people's consciousness about the potential of Africa as a continent. This is just an indication of what an incredible journey our new contestants can look forward to. And as you know, apart from you at home, we request a panel of judges to evaluate the performance of the candidates and make their votes. Our experts are leaders and achievers themselves. Let's meet our judges. Our first judge is Puti Mahanyele, the group CEO of Shanduka Group. In 2008, she was listed by the Wall Street Journal as one of the top 50 women in the world to look out for. Our second judge is Shaga Sisulu, author and social entrepreneur and founder of Cheese Kids for Humanity. Welcome to the program. It's so good to have all 3 of you in the studio. Puti, what are the 6 pillars of leadership that you'll use over the course of the program to evaluate the performances of our candidates?
We're going to be looking for action, accountability, influence, vision, willingness, and what's the last one? Influence. Attitude.
Fantastic. And Shaka, I mean, why is leadership even relevant to young people at all?
As we look around us, everything that there is, everything that we do day to day has been decided for us long in advance. And I think leadership is the point where we start to decide that we will decide for ourselves. It's critical for all of us to be engaged in this particular process and in this particular program.
Fantastic. And Puti, I mean, what are you most looking forward to on One Day Leader?
Having seen the profiles of each of the contestants, I was completely blown away. I mean, these are highly capable, smart, really wonderful young people, and I'm looking forward to getting to know them better, but also being able to hear them articulate their thinking and hopefully being able to come up with some concrete plans which they'll be able to implement when they leave the show.
And Shaka, what would you like to say to our new contestants tonight?
Guys, I'm lactose intolerant, so you can't send me any cakes. I just want to say we're in this together.
For those of you who are wide awake and picked up the fact that we profiled 5 of our previous candidates when there were in fact 6, well done. Apart from testing your memory, we saved the best for last because we wanted you to hear firsthand how being a winner of the One Day Leader Season 1 impacted on Leslie Masibi's life. And so we invited him to studio as our guest for the first episode. When Leslie earned his title as One Day Leader, part of his prize was a visit to a South African embassy overseas. The culmination of this was a fact-finding mission to China, where he met some very influential South Africans, including the CEO of Standard Bank and the ambassador of South Africa to China.
Yeah, these Chinese, and I would expect them to be a little bit more friendlier. Do you know where your shoe is? Your shoe. Yeah, sure. I look at China and you know what comes to my mind? A dream and a vision for our country. I want to see South Africa prospering just like this nation is prospering. You know, a lot of people that we've spoken to tell us that if you came here 10 years ago, you would not see all this amazing infrastructure and high-rise building. There's so much vibrancy. I want to see that happening for our nation. And, you know, I get to realize that it also depends on me playing my part as a young person and every young person out there taking the responsibility to make South Africa work.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please give a very warm welcome to Leslie Masibi. People have wondered since the end of the first season, what are you doing?
I'm still with the National Youth Development Agency, and we've been doing amazing work that site. Starting from Start Here campaign, where we speak to young people all over the country. I've had the opportunity to engage with young people on the ground, over 7,000. Some of the projects that I've worked on, including the Deep Salute Entrepreneurship Center, where I've garnered support from the likes of Richard Branson Entrepreneurship Center in the city of Johannesburg. So, you know, and the trip that we took to China,
yes,
and being able to visit the United Nations with the presidency staff has been some of the highlights of what I've been doing.
Now, what is the one major thing, if you had to single out anything, that you have taken away from One Day Leader?
I think it has to be the fact that as a young person and after winning the show, I learned the hard way that the world does not owe you anything as a young person. When you go out there, you need to fight for what you believe in. And I guess that's where the passion comes in and enthusiasm. And One Day Leader has taught me that you know what, irrespective of what people might say, as a young person, you have a voice and you should fight for what you believe in.
If you were coming on as a contestant tonight, what would you do different? Is there anything you would do differently?
Looking back, no, I don't think so. Because, you know, as a young person standing there for the first time, the energy, the passion, the enthusiasm that radiated not only for myself but other 5 contestants, it was very important, because when you get to the real world, what happens is that your determination is going to be tested to the letter. So I needed that. And at that time, being a contestant of the show did perfectly for me. I don't think that I would change that experience for anything.
Hey, you won the show.
After all.
Now, you were the most qualified to advise our 6 new candidates. What do you have to say to them tonight?
Guys, it's very important. I'm sure that you are nervous, the frustrations of having to prepare. You're wondering if the public is going to love you or not. And in the whole process, you forget to enjoy yourself. And that's very important, because when you enjoy the experience, what happens is that you help the viewers enjoy it with you. And they'll see it, you know? So it's enjoy the experience. It's an experience of a lifetime.
That was Leslie Masibi. He is our guest judge for the evening. Please remember to like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter, where you can pledge your support, ask questions, and make any suggestions to our contestants. You can also read more about their vision for each week's topic. And don't forget our website. That's www.onedayleader.co.za. The doorway to all information you'll need to follow our candidates over the next 13 weeks. In the words of Yago, good leaders are made and not born. Could that be true? Well, after the break, you can decide on whether this applies to the 6 young candidates contesting for the title of One Day Leader. The moment you've been waiting for. The 6 candidates eager and ready to put their ability and skills to the test. Are you ready? it gives me great pleasure to introduce our top 6 for One Day Leader 2. We went to each of the contestants' homes to get to know them a little better.
My name is Ndumiso Hatebe. I'm a final year student at Northwest University studying a BCom in Economics and International Trade. I live in Vereeniging, which is in the Vaal Triangle, in a place called Arkon Park. I live with my mother, who's a single parent, and my 2 other brothers. I'm a big sports fanatic, particularly athletics. I'm a sprinter. I used to be a sprinter, provincial sprinter before. So that has also given me an interest in other sports, high activity sports, that is. I also love music. I'm a singer as well. And I'm also passionate about leadership, governance and development as a whole.
Because he's so passionate about what he's doing. Everything that he does, uyenza ngomoya ophelele and akenzeli ukuthi ngithi nje ngenze ukuthi ngiqede. Wenza nje ngenhliziyo yakhe yonke.
I'm involved in 2 community projects. The first one is Chats SA. It's a non-profit organization that engages itself in youth issues, particularly with school children, high school children. My role in it is I offer my skills in facilitating workshops when it comes to bullying, teenage pregnancy, leadership, RCL's Representative Council of Learners training within that spectrum, and actually preparing high school learners to equip themselves with the necessary skills they need in order to face the challenges that they face in an ever-changing society. And then the second one is a local youth group at church. It's called Motion. My role there, I'm in charge of worship, I'm in charge of games. I counsel young people. It's for young people between the ages of 13 to 19. We counsel them on different issues. We have Bible studies for them, and our role is essentially to equip them with a good moral reasoning that will guide their decision making in the future, so that they can be responsible and citizens that contribute positively towards society. What drives me as an individual, my view of life personally, I believe in growth, I believe in development, I believe in progress. My view of life is that we make a difference wherever we can, and we go. And so I'm also a product of, I'm a young man who is fortunate enough to have people who took an interest in my life and who wanted to develop me as a young person. And so I think that has also influenced my perspective on life, on wanting to make a difference, and given me that zeal and drive to leave a place better than it was when I found it.
What Ndumiso didn't know was that the One Day Leader crew was there to tell him that he'd made it to the top 6.
Really? Really? After all this?
Ndumiso, you actually made it quite far in the finals of the first season of One Day Leader. A lot of people would have just given up. Why did you come back?
Well, Master Chaba, my love and passion for this country and its people is what fueled me to enter One Day Leader again. It is now a conviction for me to want to serve, and to serve as a beacon of hope for all South Africans, that we will no longer let others determine our ratings, but us as South Africans will become the masters of our own destiny. And that has been the conviction that fueled me to enter One Day Leader again.
And this is why he's here. Ndumiso, give us your vision statement.
Well, Master Chaba, South Africa has made major advances over the years, and with that, our socio-economic landscape has changed, and it requires a different kind of leader and a different kind of citizen. It is with this that I see the birth of a new consciousness, one that Chris Honey describes as South Africa remaining more important than anything else. And this should be the moral reasoning that guides our decision-making as South Africans. That we will be able to address our realities while giving hope to our nation's aspirations, to prove that as young people, we are indeed capable of epitomizing all that is great in modern South African youth.
Nzansi, let's meet your next candidate.
Hello, my name is Sedimut Lale. I'm 19 years old. I live with my mother in Paris, but I was born and raised in Valcom. My little sister, who's 3 years younger than me. Currently, I'm studying a Bachelor of Economic Science in Actuarial Science and Mathematical Statistics. What interests me in life is social development, even if it's just personal development, such activities such as reading, watching the news, or playing chess. What drives me? Okay, I've got a theory about success. I believe I'm success-orientated and goal-driven. And for me, success is about waking up in the morning with determination and going to bed at night with satisfaction. And also success is about stumbling from failure to failure without the loss of enthusiasm, because success is not final, failure is not fatal, and it's the strength to continue that actually matters. Currently, I'm involved in Tumahula Chess Club. It initially started apparently in 1988. It died down, so I restarted the club with a few of the community members here in Tumahole. And what we do is try to promote chess as an educational tool, as we use chess as a tool to promote education in the lives of ordinary school children here in our local community, but especially primary school children. So my personal involvement includes teaching chess at certain schools on certain days. I have people helping me with that, and we actually even elected a committee recently that takes care of the other errands. I write letters to businessmen, and I try to get the community as involved as possible to get funding.
So we started having academy, some sort of an academy whereby nersebedisa musipidi hall or rutabana chess. So nersebedisa at the forefront because bana we see so much easier.
I'm an ambassador of education. I strongly believe in education. I believe that through education we can promote an integrated South Africa where we harness the transforming energy of high-impact leadership and entrepreneurial orientation. At the moment in South Africa, we have huge social predicaments in our society, and I think such as, teenage pregnancy, crime, and illiteracy, and poverty, and the list goes on and on. But I think the root of it is, in essence, lack of education or illiteracy. So I believe that if we use education as a tool to tackle these social predicaments, then we can achieve a South Africa where we can all be proud to, call it home, and where the youth actually have a say in their future, and we can actually ultimately get to a holistically better South Africa.
And Siadimo's future looks a whole lot better when she discovers she made it to the top 6. Now, what do you think the game of chess has helped you bring to the table on One Day Leader?
I think it's taught me the skill of being an independent thinker, having confidence in my own thoughts and abilities as a person, because on the board in a game of chess, nobody's there to guide you in terms of the direction you should be taking in regards to the course of the game. And I think that is what I'm bringing to the table, that I've learned from chess, that the other candidates might not particularly be bringing to the table.
You also happen to be the youngest candidate here. Now, do you see this as a disadvantage?
Not at all, Ms. Chava. I really don't think age should be a contributing factor. But if people want to make this about our birth years, then all I have to say to them is that great things happened in the year in which I was born, which is 1994, and greater things are going to happen as a result of my birth. So whoever thinks that they are a better leader than me, just because biologically they might die first, is clearly delusional.
All right, that deserves a round of applause, yes. Thank you so much, Siadimo. Now, I swear she didn't know I was going to ask her that. That was a brilliant answer. Siadimo, you have 30 seconds to give us your vision statement.
Thank you, Ms. Chava. Firstly, I believe that education is the most powerful weapon which we can use to transform a nation, and that through education we can promote an integrated South Africa where we harness the transforming energy of high-impact leadership and entrepreneurial orientation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Siadimo. Let's see who our next contestant is.
My name is Sanda Ngama. I grew up in this lovely town called King Williamstown. I went to Bisho High School, but I was born in Umtata. I was raised by a single parent. My father passed away even before I was born, so I'm everything that I am today because of I'm passionate about music. I'm studying music. I love God. I'm passionate about preaching and His people. I think that's where most of my leadership, skills and potential, just came about. In terms of my life at the moment, I'm still trying to, finish up school. I've just got 3 second semester modules that are left. I grew into leadership and I thought, okay, I'm seeing a lot of things. I know I'm vocal. I know a lot of people saying I'm good with words. When I talk, people listen and all of those things. So I decided that, okay, let me just sacrifice myself. Let me be that sacrificial goat. I decided to join One Day Leader because I knew that One Day Leader is a platform where I can learn more, have more skills, develop myself, and actually give in as well. It's a give and take situation. I felt like One Day Leader is like an institution where I can be based, do a lot of leadership things and spread out to South Africa, not just one community, which is King, where I'm from. A lot of people like enriching where they come from. It's not a bad thing, but they're forgetting other areas within the Republic.
I-volunteer lam lalapha eprojectini ebefika qho azokwenza umsebenzi wasegadini kwi-farm for i-soup kitchen ngoba siyalima, silimela abantu abakhulu nabantu abangaphilanga. So uSanda was one of abantwana befika basiphathele imbewu, basiphathele imibhobho yonkcenkceshela imbewu. Sincedwa ngosanda ba fundraise na for ba sibe nokwazi uba ne-soup for upheka.
I'm involved in a lot of community projects from school and church, but mainly where I learned this community project thing, enriching those who are less fortunate, it was from church, the Methodist Church of Southern Africa. It's their culture, it's their custom. What we normally do at times is to maybe collect food, maybe collect clothes, those tins, do a soup kitchen, buy toiletries and all of those things and food, going to the poor. What drives me as a leader, there's still a lot that needs to be done in terms of enriching the poor, in terms of ending crime and fraud and all of those things. So I saw that until each and every person in the perfect world, in the perfect picture, is happy, if everyone is in that paradise, so to say, is in their own, heavenly glory and all of those things, it's then that I would say I've done my part. It's then that I would say, okay, I'm finished.
Your community work then, and yeah, that's it.
Well, paradise it is. Pack up your bags, Sanda. You're going to Johannesburg. You've made it to the top 6.
What?
Very, very much, glad. And yeah.
Oh, man.
Do you think a faith-based approach to leadership is what we're lacking in this country?
First and foremost, I would like to thank you. Thank South Africa. Thank God for making it this far. It is my pleasure. It is a privilege and it's an honor to be here. And I would like to say it's faith, exactly that made me to be here. All the fasting, all the praying, all the meditation, all the dedication that I put to my prayers and asking God. So I'm saying today that it's not by my power or my will or anything of that nature, but I'm quite sure that it's God who placed me here. And with that, I'm highly, highly grateful.
Amen. We're grateful to have you here. Sanda, you have 15 seconds to give us your vision statement.
Thank you very much, Mas Chaba. As we know that South Africa is a beautiful country that will need people who would be less in terms of your corruption and crime, someone who would be innovative and be creative and have sustainable things that they will develop, and someone who is accountable of their mission and vision and everything that they do wrong. Someone who's willing to say that I've done wrong and I'm willing to eradicate each and every problem that I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sanda. Well, there they are. Our top 6, eloquent and very good looking. These visionaries are all set on a journey of making it to the top. But what kind of leaders are they? After the break, we'll reveal the other 3 contestants and look at how these leaders aim to melt your hearts, Mzansi. Stay with us. Welcome back. You've met the first 3 candidates. Let's meet the final 3 and hear what their vision is for South Africa. Anele, what has been the most challenging aspect of getting here?
I think the most challenging aspect was just believing in my ability as a leader, as a woman, as a black woman, because there are many challenges that we are faced with. We're doubly squandered on the grounds of race and on the grounds of gender, of course. And I think what I've come to realize is that you know, you can overcome that with excellency. And excellency is the only way that you can overcome ageism. It's the only way that you can overcome genderism. And it's the only way that you can overcome racism. Just by being excellent and proving to people that you are worth listening to and you are worth, you know, understanding and being in a position where you can speak to the masses.
Thank you very much, Anele. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to know Anele a little better.
Igama lami ngingu-Anele wakanzimande, ngihlala eGoli okwamanje. La eGoli ngilethwe imfundo zami, ngifunda eWits, and I'm originally from Durban. I like to write poetry, I love debating, I love drama, I love performance. I'm currently studying law, my LLB degree. What made me enter One Day Leader? Mommy, she passed away last year. So everything that I do now, I try to make to amount to something through me, because I don't want her death to be in vain, because I know that she believed in me a lot. So I strive, you know, get everything in my power to make her proud. Yeah. I watched season 1, and the entire time that I was sitting on my couch, I thought, that could be me. That is me. I feel just as passionately, I feel just as strongly as the participants on the show, because I think that I can make an invaluable contribution, and I'm just excited to be a part of something so beautiful and so great. The community project engisebenza kuyona is called PSOM, Positive State of Mind. Into esayenza ukuthi saxhumana nomama osebenza lapha eWits la sifunda khona. A group of us students, first years, we have the energy, we have the passion. So saxhumana nalo mama ukuthi yini singayenza ukusiza i-community la ihlala khona. Wayeseyasitshela iy'nkinga ababhekene nazo, sabona ukuthi thina singenze njani njengabantu abasha, bapha abantu esingaxhumana nabo ukuthi simsize.
Anele ke motho o ratang batho, and la bua le wena o batla go lokologe ka go bua le wena ga gage wa lokologa go wa bona motho o free ha ona ntho o filang gore ke a mo jwetsa ke mo jwetsona go re ne ke filang ka khale ke mo tseba.
My vision for this country is that we become more independent in our thinking, that we become accountable to ourselves, and we become active participants.
Anele, you have just become an active participant of One Day Leader. Anele, please give us your vision statement in 30 seconds.
My vision, Mr. Chaba, is for us to make South Africa a brand just as China is. And how we can do that is by creating a culture of young people who are hardworking, who are ambitious, and who are unapologetic about the strides that they need to make in order to become successful. What we need to do is try and bridge the gap, of course, between the rich, the middle class, and the poor. And for as long as the middle class and the rich think that the problems of the poor are independent of their own, is a time when we can't achieve social cohesion and create economic emancipation.
Thank you very much, Anele. Let's meet contestant number 5.
My name is Masuta Mukobe Morris and Ivavenda Mapate. I grew up with my grandmother and my aunt since I was 1. I've always lived with my grandmother and my aunt up until today. I'm a master's student at the University of Johannesburg. I'm doing my master's in local economic development. I love research, I love studying, and I don't think I'll ever stop studying. I do love sport. You know, I watch a lot of sport, and I attempt quite a bit of sport. Interacting with different people, you know, it's also one of my favorite things, and it's also one of the few things that I really appreciate, because I get to learn almost on a daily basis. Growing up, life was challenging but fair. I do feel that my upbringing and the very same socio-economic challenges that I faced growing up are the real reasons why I am who I am today. The name of the community project I'm involved in is Tusanani Foundation, which is a non-profit youth-led organization aimed at bridging the educational information gap between rural high school learners and their urban counterparts. And the reasoning behind this approach is to try and create a situation whereby students from rural high schools are able to get an equal opportunity with their urban counterparts in as far as accessing institutions of higher learnings. My role in Tusanani is that of an executive director, but I'm largely responsible for project planning and implementation. My vision for South Africa is for a country that has a national development strategy centered around education. I believe that every single South African challenge can be solved through education.
Well, brace yourself for your next challenge, competing on One Day Leader Season 2.
You have to joke. You have to be joking. I'm very honored.
Welcome to One Day Leader, Mukobe.
Thank you very much.
What inspired your passion for education?
The fact that I wouldn't be where I am today because of education. And everybody I saw succeeding in life in my village was only through education. So I grew up believing that there is nothing else you can use to emancipate yourself socio-economically except through education. And that's what inspired my passion, really.
That is the key to success. What is your vision for South Africa?
My vision is to live in a South Africa whose developmental strategies around the provision of free and quality education to all academically deserving but financially needy students. That is the only way in which I think South Africa can move forward.
Thank you very much, Mukobe. All right, last but not least, let's meet contestant number 6.
My name is Ubongegile Zindle Khatebe. Ngilana namhlanje emhlakeng Randfontein. I attend the University of Johannesburg. It's my final year in BCom Finance this year. So I'm very much interested in the finance world. I'm very much interested in being a social entrepreneur. I'm interested a lot in people and speaking. I think my ability to adapt to different environments with different kinds of people, that's what I'm about. I'm currently a GRAS and njengoba consumer collaboration agency ithatha thina abantu abasha, abantu who are influential in the sessions with various consumer products which you find, and then we say whether siyayithanda or asiyithandi, noma sifuna i-advert yakhona, what do we think of it, suggestions that we have, how do we feel as consumers, as well as new projects. Within being a GRAS then, I either attend sessions or I get briefs via our phone, so it's also pretty much advanced. So as a GRAS, I get to share my opinion or my suggestions. I help pioneer projects. What made me enter, I'm quite the person who, if you have me as a friend on Facebook, if you know me personally, or if you follow me on Twitter and I follow you, I'm pretty much opinionated. So whatever happens in our country, I will have a comment, So getting together with different kinds of people and basically being put in one situation with all these people, that's what drove me into entering a One Day Leader, because it helps you understand Wuti, this country isn't just about you. It's not just about your perspective. And for you to sometimes understand omunye umuntu, you need to go in depth, go into their community. So I love that aspect. Wuti, you'll then end up gathering in knowledge, and not just you as a leader, because I love the fact that you're not alone as well. There's 5 other leaders there with you. So nibaningi, you just engaging within various socio-economic issues. And I think that's what's important, having an understanding of your country, an in-depth understanding and experience of your country.
Well, get ready to engage your 5 fellow contestants on One Day Leader Season 2. Bongekile, you've also been running a hair business for the last 7 years.
Yes, I have indeed.
To whom would you accredit this business acumen that you have?
I think I would definitely accredit it to my aunt, who taught me how to braid hair when I was around 7, 8 years old.
And from there, I then practiced on my Barbie dolls. So instead of simply drawing on them, I would use the hair and just to sharpen up my skills.
What I find impressive is that it's one thing to know how to do hair. It's another thing to turn it into a business like you have.
Yeah, you know, when you're placed in a position where you have to fend for yourself in certain areas of your life, you use what comes from you as an advantage, what you have acquired throughout the years, you use that to your advantage to basically maintain your business. And once you are able to maintain your business, you then venture into the various areas of people's life because you need to stay relevant to the hairstyles.
So you also have to keep up with current trends and see what the market wants at that particular time. Bongekile, your 30 seconds begins now.
My vision is blanketed by the belief that greatness is a height that is never achieved alone, and once acquired, it is something that requires hard work and resilience to be maintained. Therefore, I challenge every South African individual to take ownership towards their own economic emancipation through the standard belief that the difference between your ambition and someone who has made it is that their ambition has materialized. And I believe that the belief of economic emancipation is what South Africa needs.
Thank you very much, Bongekile. A round of applause for our candidates. Ladies and gentlemen, now that you've met the six, we're getting to the heat of the moment. The producers have asked me to issue a warning to our leaders to expect the unexpected. Stay with us. Don't go away. And as per the warning, we're raising the heat right along with the bar. Now, I certainly hope that you were listening when your teacher spoke about preparation, because you're going to need a lot of that tonight. All right, so the topic for our debate tonight is, what kind of leader does Africa need? Here are the rules for the debate. You will have 15 seconds to give your vision statement, 30 seconds to probe, 15 seconds to answer, and 1 minute for an open floor discussion. Unfortunately, this episode is not live. You at home can't vote for today, and so our judges will help us choose 3 winners tonight in each of the debates. Our first debate will be between Mukobe and Bongekile. And the topic, once again, is, what kind of leader does Africa need today? Bongekile, your 15 seconds starts now.
I believe that Africa needs a leader who is accountable, economically visioned, a critical thinker and unapologetic in that, uncompromising in the deliverance of quality education and staying relevant to socio-economic issues around the world.
Thank you very much, Bongekile. Your time is up. Mukobe, you have 30 seconds to question her vision.
In addition to what Bongekile has said, I think Africa needs a leader with an accurate understanding of our socio-political history in order to understand where we're going. But also we need a leader whose willingness to serve our people is informed by the spirit of selflessness to better the lives of many and not just a few. But also, we don't just need words. We need a solution-oriented implementist. That is somebody who will come up with solutions and implement them and not just be poetic about our problems. We're also looking for people who understand that education is the only solution to all the socio-economic that she's mentioned.
Thank you very much, Mukobe. So in essence, I see that's a favorite right there. We need action, more action and less theory. All right, Mukobe, now you will have 15 seconds to tell us, what kind of leader do we need in Africa today?
Africa needs an independent thinker, one who is fully conscious of where we're coming from and where we need to go. But also Africa needs somebody who understands that what we have underneath our soil is nothing unless we have the human capital to translate them into a better life for all and not just a few.
Your time is up. Thank you very much, Mukobe. All right, Bongekile, you've heard what Mukobe has had to say about the state of leadership in Africa. You have 30 seconds to challenge him.
To challenge what Mukobe has said, I think when you focus on just the type of leader being an independent thinker, you forget that you are serving people, and that then can produce a leader who is too focused on self-enrichment. And in order for you to understand the thinking of a leader, you then need to acquire the thoughts of the people that you are serving. So I find a problem with solely being an independent thinker. And that's
Thank you very much, Bongekile. All right. Our next debate is between Ndumiso and Seadimo. Starting now. Ndumiso, we'll begin with you. You have 15 seconds to tell us what kind of leadership do you think Africa needs today?
Masichaba, I believe that Africa needs a thought leader, one whose vision is fueled by their conviction, loyalty and allegiance to the African continent, and by doing so through the assessment and the analysis of the three basic indicators of development, being education, healthcare and real income, in order to respond to the needs of society.
Thank you very much, Ndumiso. Seadimo, you have 30 seconds to challenge Ndumiso's vision.
Ndumiso, I'd like to ask you a question. In terms of loyalty, how do you suggest that an African leader remains loyal to these needs that you have identified by the society in terms of addressing them? How can they go about doing that?
Thank you very much for that question, Seadimo. When it comes to loyalty, this has to do with a consciousness that as an African leader that you carry with yourself, that over and above anything, in order to eradicate corruption or anything of that nature, your loyalty and allegiance has to be pledged to the cause of that to the cause of the African continent. So whatever the case may be, your loyalty should remain to the cause of our continent.
Time is up. Thank you very much, Ndumiso. Well, Seadimo, did Ndumiso's vision make sense to you? You have 15 seconds to give us your own vision on the type of leader that Africa needs today. Your time begins now.
The leadership that we need is someone who's energetic, an energetic visionary who is conscious about her environment in a socio-economic context and also the needs of those she is serving. One that understands that education is the most powerful weapon we can use to transform a nation.
Perfect timing. Thank you very much, Seadimo. Ndumiso, you have 15 seconds to challenge Seadimo on her vision.
Seadimo, as we've mentioned that education is one of the basic indicators of development, how do you think an African leader can use education as a key tool for the development of the African continent on a practical level?
Well, since education is mandatory in all African nations, I would suggest the inclusion of certain aspects which need to be addressed, and like certain social predicaments that need to be addressed, including them in the, for instance, curriculum, and since everyone has to go to school anyway.
What exactly would those be? What exactly?
Time is up. Thank you very much, Seadimo and Ndumiso. Our final debate is between Sanda and Anele. Sanda, we'll start with you. You have 15 seconds to tell us what type of leader do you think Africa needs today?
Thank you very much, Masichaba. Africa needs someone who is passionate about the continent, someone who embraces its culture and respects its diversity, someone who's clear about its needs in the social aspect and continentally, and someone who is willing to lay their life as that sacrificial goat.
Your time is up. Thank you very much, Sanda.
Is
this vision clear? You have 30 seconds to challenge him.
My question is, what are South Africa's needs in terms of a social and economic context? Because you mentioned that you need someone who will deal with these needs. So can you list some of them?
Now, thank you very much, Masichaba. We all know that education is the key to success. The basic fundamental need that Africa needs is education, in a nutshell, because education may be able to cover all the aspects of your economic problems and everything of that nature. So education is the key.
Thank you very much to both of you. All right, Anele, it is now your turn to give us your take on the type of leader that Africa needs today. Your 15 seconds starts now.
Now, in keeping with the education emphasis that has been placed, I think Africa needs a strategist. Africa needs a business leader with an entrepreneurial approach to deal with the vulgar disparities in wealth that the rich and the poor and the middle class that exists between these classes.
Your time
so
is
we
up.
want
Thank you
social
very much.
cohesion.
Thank you very much for that vision. Sanda, you have 15 seconds to question Anele on her vision.
Now, thank you very much, Masichaba. As I emphasize that Africa needs someone who is real and true to the continent and someone who knows the continent, can I ask you a question? Is it possible that someone outside the continent of Africa be able to lead Africa?
No, it is not possible, because one of the inherent problems in Africa is poverty. So you cannot have an issue like that, like poverty, being addressed by someone who does not come from a poverty-stricken, in a background, such as a westernized individual. So it is only Africa an African leader who will have solutions to deal with African problems.
Your time is up. Thank you so much to both of you. So African problems should be solved by Africans themselves. Thank you very much. I had no idea what to expect today. I am highly impressed by the level of preparation that our contestants have put into their presentations. After the break, find out what the judges think. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching One one-day leader with me, Masachaba Lekalake. In just a few moments, you'll be meeting the winners of tonight's episode, selected by our judges, and they were chosen purely on intellect, vision, and content on the topic. All right, judges, please do tell us how our first winner was selected between Mukobe and Bongekile.
On the balance of things, we went with Mukobe. Okay, not only did Mukobe get renting a crowd right, we also, I think, was able to strategically or tactically use his rebuttal a lot better than Bongekile was able to use her rebuttal time.
All right, Puti, would you please tell us how you selected the winner of the second debate, and that was between Ndumiso and Seadimo?
Our decision was to go with Ndumiso, and the reason largely being around the question that he posed, which we thought was an important question because it just showed the importance of being able to implement, you know, this whole aspect around education. But also it showed just that the fact that he appreciates pragmatism, you know, as well.
Leslie, how did you go about selecting the winner of our final debate between Sanda and Anele?
I thought Anele brought in some few new points, such as entrepreneurial approach, thinking about a strategist, and you could see that it was deviating from emphasis on education. I mean, what other contestant failed to look at was the graduates that we have in this country are still unemployed. They're educated, but they don't have work. You look at Zimbabwe as a question in point, but you know, we need creative thinking to address, because we've seen that other dogmatic approaches have not worked. So we gave it to Anele.
That's very sensible. Thank you very much. Congratulations to all our winners. 6 visionaries from across the country were selected out of thousands. Each week on One Day Leader, you have an opportunity to share in their vision as they give their view of how they can change South Africa for the better. And number 1 is Ndumiso Hadebe. Number 2 is Seadimo Tlale. Number 3 is Sanda Ngama. Number 4 is Anele Nzimande. Number 5 is Mukobe Masuta. And number 6 for Bongekile Hadebe. Thank you so much. Thank you to our contestants. Thank you to our audiences in the studio. And thank you watching at home. Please vote for your favorite candidate on the numbers shown on our screen. And be sure to join us again next week when we're live for an exhilarating journey with our 6 contestants. It's good to be back. From me, Masachaba Lekalake, and from the One Day Leader team, good night.